Hello, my Corona warriors. These are tough times, but welcome to my YouTube channel. This video is about 3 tips on how to make the best home offer. My name is Adriana Valdosola. I'm with Tarantino Realty. That attaches my phone number. Feel free to text me, call me, email me. Marketingadri@gmail.com is the best way to reach me. It's better for me to keep track. So here are the 3 tips to make the best home offer. Number one is going to be know your buying power. What type of loan do you have? If your home loan was a pyramid, it would look like this. The best one is cash. Number 2, conventional. Number 3, FHA or USDA, and number 4, VA. Now, why is that? As we all know, cash is king, of course. If you've been placing offers left and right in the market and you're getting beat out by investors or by anybody doing cash offers, well, you know why. Some of the reasons may be because with cash, you can close fast. So what these people are offering is they're offering better terms. So they're saying we can close in 14 days, we can close in 20 days, whatever it may be. You avoid underwriting. So something that makes a loan a little bit difficult is that you don't just talk to your loan officer. There's an underwriter that has to approve all of the documents, and they have to make sure that you actually do qualify for the loan. And with a cash offer, you also avoid an appraisal, or you can pay for one separately, but most people opt not to make that sort of expense. So when you are competing with somebody that's making an offer at full market value, they almost always win. There's no competing against cash buyers unless you are actually offering $20,000 or $30,000 more above asking price. But then you also have to consider a couple of things like, will it appraise? Will it not appraise? How far are we going to get through this transaction? And I want you guys to see this the way that the seller sees this, because you're going to be a seller at some point if you buy a house. Right now, you are in the position of the buyer, but I'm giving you this advice, seeing it from the perspective of the listing agent. As a listing agent, my responsibility is to look out for the seller's interest, not yours. So I'm going to evaluate all of my offers, and I'm going to see what type of loan it has, what type of term it has, how long the closing is. And if you guys are asking for a lot of excessive things, for example, seller concessions, a lot of people are asking for $2,000 down. Some people are asking for a 6%, for a $6,000, depending on the value of the property, and other people are asking for an entire 3%. If you actually look at it the way that the seller does, and I will show you some numbers as an example in the further slides, but if you look at it from a seller's perspective, you're actually losing money, and that's why you are losing the offer. So in my opinion, as a listing agent, usually when I receive a bunch of offers, the conventional loan is the second best option. And why do I look at it this way? I look at it this way because usually to get a conventional loan, you either have to have one or all of these. It depends on the type of conventional loan, because some conventional loans can have only a 3% down. I do believe that you have to have fantastic credit and I guess a lot of good credit history. I'm not quite sure. I'm not a lender, so I can't tell you or advise you as to how you can qualify for different types of loans. But you do have to have better credit. You may have to have better income. You have a better down payment. That means that you have money in reserves. That means that you have cash in your savings account that you can do somewhat of a 5, 10, or 20% down, and you have more cash to cover all of your closing costs. That means that 3% that you're going to require, or whatever it may be. So in my opinion, when I'm evaluating loans on a listing that I have, if I don't have cash offers, but I have conventional offers versus FHA, USDA, and VA offers, I always have to analyze just how much higher the FHA and VA offers are than the conventional for it to make sense. A couple of other things that I have to make sure of is that my house with a conventional loan, if the buyer does not have a conventional loan, my house has to be pristine. So, and that's not my house, I mean my listing has to be pristine. With a conventional loan, the lender and the appraiser are typically more lenient. So some examples of this are, um, I've seen USDA appraisers call out old windows because they don't function properly. So they ask you to repair them and bring them up to code so that there's egress in the event of a fire. They also go throughout the house and they request GFCIs if there's none in the restrooms and the kitchen. That's a safety hazard. That's why they're a little bit more picky about that when it comes to FHA, when it comes to USDA and VA loans. And sometimes, and this is the biggest one, guys, this is the biggest issue that I see when buyers have an FHA or AVA or USDA, the appraisers usually call out the fascia or the wood trim surrounding a home. I don't know why this is such a big deal. I don't know if it's because it's a curb appeal or whatever it may be. It's such an easy fix and it's such a DIY fix that I don't know why so many people don't do it. I know it's, money that they have to put into the house that they want to get rid of. However, a lot of people don't do it. But these are things that the appraisers that a conventional appraiser might overlook depending on the amount that you're putting down on the house. So that's one of the reasons why conventional loans are a little bit more appealing. All of these items like the fascia, the electric GFCIs, and cracked tiles or any of that, they make FHA, USDA loans very less appealing. So if the seller's agent is experienced enough, they will know that the condition of the property will have an impact on the type of the loan that you have. So, with that said, they know that this could pose a problem when we are in the middle of a transaction, and they will definitely get the best type of loan possible. I will give you an example. I had a listing up in Mesa. And the seller, when he asked me to put it on the market, he told me, hey, there is a leak in the covered patio on the exterior because the balcony needs to be repaired or replaced. Basically, the top of the balcony needed new ply deck, so it was leaking to the patio. So basically, I knew this. So when I received tons of offers because I got a lot of offers, I was looking at the type of offers that I was getting, and most of them were FHA, and I really wanted to give somebody an opportunity for that, but I was very limited because the seller did not want to repair that covered patio and they did not want to spend money on the ceiling or on the floor of that balcony. So I went with the conventional loan. A lot of times as an agent, we'd receive like really nice love letters and all that stuff. Not love letters, but we get a family letter, stating how much they want to live in the property, asking for an opportunity. And a lot of times, what the buyer does not understand, or they think that we're just ignoring them based on their loan. It's not necessarily because of their loan, it's because of the what we foresee becoming a problem in the future. So that is an example. So, all of the items that make FHA, USDA, and loans less appealing means that if you are struggling to get an offer accepted because you have a VA loan or because you have an FHA loan or because you have a USDA loan, there's some things that you have to compromise on. I'm not going to lie. I prefer to be a listing agent for a reason. And one of the biggest reasons why I prefer to be a listing agent is because new buyers, they have this idea in their head that the house has to be perfect. It has to be absolutely perfect. It has to have 4 bedrooms for their future kids because that's the house that they're going to retire in. It has to have a large yard, and it has to have beautiful bathrooms, and it has to be move-in ready, and it has to have a gazillion and one things, and it can't have an HOA, and it has to have an acre of land. There's a lot of very unrealistic expectations when you actually qualify for a house. And what you're not looking at is that you are actually expecting the seller to give you money to actually qualify for that loan. And here's what I will explain what I mean by that. So if you have an FHA loan, if you have a VA loan, or you have a USDA loan, you may need to look at townhomes and get over the fact that you're going to share a wall. You may need to go for a house that doesn't have a huge gigantic backyard because you want all these toys for your kids. You might need to purchase in the outskirts of town. If you are in Tucson, for example, this video pertains more to Arizona. I'm actually talking about the Tucson, Arizona market. If you are living somewhere else, these tips can also help you. But I am talking about Tucson and Arizona law. So, please bear with me, like, share, or just keep looking because some of my tips might help you out, or they might help you understand a couple of reasons why you are not getting that you're not getting that offer one. So you might have to purchase in the outskirts of town. And when I'm talking about outskirts of town, for example, I'm talking Vail, Sahuarita, Green Valley, Marana, Red Rock, and even the southwestern side, guys. I mean, a lot of people just want to be in downtown area, central Tucson, West Tucson, Catalina foothills. They want to be in the very expensive parts of town. So you might have to compromise on the area where you want to live. You might have to reduce the amount of bathrooms that you want. Maybe you want 3 bathrooms. Maybe you don't need 3 bathrooms. Maybe you want 2 full bathrooms, but maybe you can just get 2.5 baths, etc., etc. You might have to give up a garage. You might have to live in an HOA. I get a lot of people that they say, I want this, and that, but it can't be in an HOA. And I see so many houses that would be a great fit for them, but they don't want to live in an HOA. Square footage is another big one. Maybe your kids have to share a bedroom. Maybe your kids are 3 and 4. I remember sharing a bedroom with my sister until college years because I had to move back with my parents. It's not a big deal. They are kids. They're not the boss. They don't have to have separate bedrooms. You can put them in bedrooms together. And the whole point of this is working to have a better down payment for a larger home. I'll explain that as we go along. Maybe you will have to buy a 2-story home. I get a lot of people that say, I don't want a 2-story home. It's too much to clean, this, and that, blah, 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 whatever. At the end of the day, all of those compromises that you might be making, like getting 2 bathrooms only or buying a 2-bedroom home or living in a townhouse, it's a lot better than paying and throwing money away in rent. And this is how I'm going to explain it, guys. If you are paying $1,200 in rent, you can literally pay a mortgage. And what's happening with the rent is you are throwing the money away or you're throwing it to somebody else's mortgage. If they want to sell in the next 30 days, they can absolutely do that and you have no say. If you're throwing $1,200 into your mortgage and maybe live there 2 or 3 years until your kids are ready, like to actually, be able to have a second or third bedroom or a second or third bathroom. At that point in time, all of those payments will have gained you a little bit of equity. What that means to you is that if you sell your house, your down payment might be larger, or you may be qualifying for a conventional loan versus an FHA loan, so on and so forth. You have more buying power because you have an asset and you probably have equity. So at the end of the day, what I tell a lot of my clients is you got to take baby steps. Don't look at this as your final house because life changes. God forbid. I mean, and I say this, because it has happened to people that I know. God forbid you lost a baby. And instead of outgrowing a house, you want to downsize. God forbid you lost your parents or your parents had to move in. You might have to upgrade. So don't look at your property as the make all, end all, be all. The goal here is to look at your house as a secret savings account because more than likely it will gain equity slowly but surely, and eventually you will be able to use the equity as a down payment. Look at it that way. Moving forward. So FHA, USDA, MBA are all loans that require less money down and lower credit scores. What does that say to me as a listing agent? Okay, so I've seen everything happen. I used to be the transaction manager for a team, and I saw this happen. So we on one day before closing, I get a rejection letter from the buyer's lender. What did that buyer do? the buyer, I don't know if the agent didn't explain it properly. I don't know if the lender didn't explain it properly, but that buyer spent their down payment money. This is mind-boggling to me. It was an FHA loan. The down payment was 3.5%. I don't remember the price because it wasn't my transaction, but long story short, people that qualify for FHA, USDA, and VA usually need the seller to pay the closing costs. They usually have very little money to put down, and they really have no wiggle room if the property does not appraise. Most of the time, if the property does not appraise, they don't have the cash to cover the difference and move forward with the transaction. So what does that tell me that what does that tell to me as a listing agent? To me, it kind of, puts a little bit of red flags because lower money down may not mean that it does mean that you do not have the cash in the event that the home does not appraise. And I gave you an example previously where the buyer just spent the money that they had. It is a red flag to me because that means that the seller must give money to you to be able to qualify for the loan. And that also means that basically, if you are trying to land a deal right now, you might be being ignored. I'm not going to lie to you. Especially if you are VA, because the seller has to pay more items for you up front. So I think that there is a better strategy to try to get VA loans. If you have a VA loan and you are struggling with your agent and you do not have a buyer broker agreement here in Tucson, obviously, I highly suggest to contact me so that we can strategize as to how to find that house for you. Because I do think that in order to be able to find a VA seller, we've got to dig that will understand your loan costs. So moving forward, again, it's a red flag. Seller concessions means that you do not have enough money to cover all of the loan and closing costs, and that if you do not get them, they may not qualify for the loan. So with that said, I'm going to move on to the next one. If you do have the cash to cover your closing costs, please, please, please do not ask for seller concessions, because obviously you're going to get ignored versus and I'm just saying you're going to get ignored if there's 13 offers on the table. It is what it is. That's what's happening here in Tucson. Homes are getting a bunch of offers on the same day. Foot traffic is horrible, so most agents are trying to sell the house even before it hits the market so that they can avoid the hassle. But anyways, don't try to keep that money in your bank just in case, or don't try to keep that money in the bank because you want to make nice repairs. At the end of the day, you won't be able to make the repairs if you don't have the house. So you're just dreaming. I'm sorry if I'm being crude. I'm sorry if you just need a little reality check, but the goal here is get the house, start building equity, and then you will get your dream. I have a bunch of examples of friends and family that started small. They started when they were able to buy foreclosures, and then they bought their second house, and now their down payment just keeps getting bigger and bigger. And I'm helping with my cousin right now, for example, with a new build, because she started small. She started with a two-bedroom, and it was difficult because her parents lived with her or her visitors and all this stuff. And now they're going to get a large house, which is their dream house. You can get there, but there's baby steps. You can't fly there, especially in this market. You can't have a $200,000 budget and want five-bedroom house with three bathrooms and an acre lot. That is unrealistic, guys. Like, come on. Listen to your agent when they're telling you this. Um, so and I'll go back to the example of the listing that I had up in Mesa. you know I got a couple of offers that were asking me for seller concessions, and the seller was getting really, really upset because he's like, well, they're offering 330,000, but they're asking me for $15,000 in repairs. They're not really offering 330,000. They're really offering 315. So what's the point? Like, why are they lying up front? And I'm like, and I was trying to explain what's going on and how they wanted the repairs, and he just couldn't understand that. So don't upset the seller. Just, try to make this work for you. I'm going to give you a couple of examples of I'm going to use a $250,000 home as an example, and I'm going to go to my cost sheet because I created this. Basically, I created this cost sheet for a buyer that has cash and for a buyer that needs at least 3% down in seller concessions. Okay, I usually create these for my clients with the cost sheet from Title Security. It's my favorite cost sheet. But basically, I put in the numbers. I put in 250,000. How much the agent is going to make in commissions, so on and so forth. So basically, if you see like the brokerage fee, this is a typical 6%, so $15,000. So the seller pays the real estate agents $15,000, and they pay a couple other things. They pay the real estate tax proration. They also pay the Alta homeowners policy. This is stuff that maybe you do not realize that the seller is already paying. They're forking out money for you. Okay. And let's just say that they still have to pay their mortgage off. So when they sell the house, they're not going to keep this cash. They have to pay their mortgage down. So basically, they owe $150,000 at the end of the day. After all of those estimated closing costs, you subtract the Alta policy, you subtract the brokerage fees, you get an estimated amount of 81,805.04. Okay, I'm going to simplify that math on the presentation, but I'm going to move to the other one. This one is an offer that requires the 3% seller concessions. Again, I'm here at the brokerage fee, real estate tax proration, and I'm adding the 3% seller concessions here, which equals $7,500, guys. That's half a commission. So if you're asking for seller concessions, what the seller sees after they pay off their mortgage is that the offer that what they're really going to make is 74,000. I'm rounding out, guys, so please bear with me. So on my slide, as you can see right here, they're going from a cash offer of 81,000 to a loan offer of 74,000. Like, in what mind do you think you can actually compete with a cash offer? Or let's just say that that was a conventional loan that didn't ask for seller concessions. You would still be losing, basically. 81,000 minus 74,000 is $7,000 at the end of the day. If you are asking for repairs, let's just say $7,000, the seller will probably prefer to put that towards repairs versus put it towards concessions, because maybe you should have saved to be able to purchase a house. And I'm not saying this in a bad way as an agent. I'm just trying to help you strategize, because a lot of people think that their agent wants to screw them over if they say you need to offer above asking price, and you need to offer $20,000 to $30,000 more. I speak to agents on a regular basis, and they do this on a regular basis, and they still lose the loan. So, in my opinion, as a listing agent, I truly believe that the terms of the offer should be the best, and that the offer should be realistic. So moving forward to the second tip of what you have to do to make the best home offers. If you have to sell your house to qualify for the loan, sell the house first. Simply put, guys, you have to sell the house first. If you were selling your car, would you sell it to someone that tells you, I'll give you $2,000 for it, but I have to sell my car first, and I don't know how long it's going to take because I need to repair a couple things and I might have to negotiate? Or would you sell it to the person that says, I will buy it from you today for 1,995? I'm ready to go. What would you do? If you add contingencies like this to your offer, you're making it weak. So in my opinion, sometimes it's best to sell first, even if you have to move twice. Yes, I know it's an expense and all that stuff, but at the end of the day, unless you really have a high budget and you really want to over offer, a lot of things can fall through in an offer. The buyer might not qualify for the loan. There's so many things at the end of the day that we have to analyze for you, that it may be worth selling the house first. That is my opinion as the agent. as a listing agent, I truly, truly believe that it is in your best interest to actually sell the house first before going under contract, because the person that's buying your house might say that they have a loan and 30 days out might spend their freaking down payment money. I don't know. It could happen. Try to sell the house first. It's simple. Move into your parents for 3 weeks or 3 months or whatever amount is necessary for you to get into the proper house. I mean, if you want to win an offer, that's probably better. And tip number three, most of you guys probably will freak out about this, but just make the damn offer. Guys, I do this all the time. Instead of driving for 2 or 3 hours looking at houses and then, oh, we're going to think it overnight to see what the best option. HGTV doesn't tell you that you don't have the overnight option. You got to place the offer as soon as possible. And to me, as soon as possible is make the dang offer as soon as it hits the market. You don't even have to look at the house. And the reason why I'm saying you don't even have to look at the house is because, but most people prefer Zillow, Trulia, Realtor.com, Redfin, whatever they prefer, right? So by the time that the listing hits that website, a lot of real estate agents probably already knew about it before you did. And a lot of real estate agents probably showed it before you even knew it existed. So more than likely, it already has an offer before you even ask for permission to go look at the house. So my recommendation when I say just place the offer, the reason why I'm saying this is most of you guys, if you're not working with me, most of you have probably been hanging out with a realtor for a month or two, and you guys have probably seen a couple of homes right now, and maybe the realtor has placed a couple of offers on your behalf. They have probably spoken to your lender and to agents, and they know what you require to close. They know your seller concessions. They have developed a good sense as to what you would probably compromise on. They have probably picked up on cues as to what you would like and maybe fall in love with. And more than likely, because of COVID right now, you probably have Matterport pictures online to help you make a decision and, to help you preview the house. There's a lot of tools at your disposal to kind of make that decision. Obviously, the realtor, most of the time, I mean, I would hope so, but that's something that I do. Anytime I place an offer, I pull comps first, like before even recommending what type of offer to make. At the end of the day, I don't want you to make an exaggerated offer that places you in the position where if the property does not appraise, you have to come up with the cash. It has to be a realistic offer, at least in my opinion. I would not jeopardize your earnest money to make you win the offer. But anyways, you do have 10 days to cancel. I don't know if you have been explained this before. I don't know if your agents are explaining the purchase agreement to you or not. I see it more and more because everything is because you are able to sign everything online nowadays. A lot of agents are not explaining the freaking contract, but you have 10 days to cancel. And it has to be a legitimate cancellation. I mean, even if you hate the house, obviously you can do something that on your offer that it said, the offer is subject to viewing the property, right? I mean, obviously you got to see the house. You're just putting the offer because you want in. Um, at the end of the day, during these 10 days, you can do your home inspection. You can walk the property if it has too many light bulbs, for example, or some BS explanation as to why you don't like it, or maybe you saw mold in the bathroom or whatever it may be. That is your reason to cancel. Um, Everybody does it all of the time. The best way to go about doing it legitimately is to do it subject to viewing the property. I think this is better because it doesn't waste your time. It doesn't make you frustrated. It doesn't waste your agent's time. It doesn't make us frustrated. At the end of the day, the more offers you submit, the higher probability is to get that yes. So in this market nowadays, you have to you have to submit a couple of offers before you actually win one. And you can do all of your relevant inspections at that time. So um, once you are in your inspection period, you can actually look at it patiently without rushing, without having 3 other agents walk in at the same time. So if you found this video helpful, please like, please share, please subscribe. I hope that if you're not using me, you find a fantastic realtor that will explain every single contract to you and they will work in your best interest, and that you become flexible after watching this video as to not going to look at the property. I'm not saying that you can't preview properties so that you can get an idea of what's on the market and what you actually like. I'm not saying that you shouldn't. I'm just saying that but if you are an hour away from the property that you want to look at and it's 12 p.m., more than likely by the time that you get there, somebody will already have placed an offer. And there's a lot of new listing agents out there, people. And what I mean by this is that a lot of newer listing agents don't have that mindset yet as to I got to protect my seller's interests. They have the mindset is, yes, let's get this sold. So they accept the first offer versus recommending, let's wait, let's get the best offer possible. Let's analyze these offers. They're like, no, let's go. Yes, I'm on the contract. Anyways, again, my name is Adriana Mendoza with Tierra Antigua Realty, phone number 520-249-7029. You can obviously read. My email again is marketingadri@gmail.com. Please like, please share, please subscribe. You're really, really helping me. If you've watched all the way through, please help me, just like I have attempted to help you win that offer. Have a great one. Hasta la vista, baby.